YouTube, Pewsily here, with the promised ban list prediction. I'm usually pretty good with them, so I always want to try and give them a shot. Now, this September 2012 ban list prediction is really tough, and for several reasons. It's a really diverse format, which means that although technically a lot of hits would be worthwhile, um, you don't want to put a lot on the ban list. The point of the ban list is to make the game sort of fair and balanced, but at the same time, you don't want to just go banning everything, do you? You want to have like a bigger card pool as possible, so there's as much variance and diversity as possible. So the hits that make the right impact without hitting as many cards are generally the hits that you're going to go for. I'll just sort of jump straight into it, really. So starting off, as always, with Forbidden, same as it has been for like a year and a half now, is Future Fusion. The card is ridiculous, as showcased massively in the past 6 months by Chaos Dragons. They use it essentially as a painful choice, which Forbidden card, but the fact is nowadays you don't even care if the fusion monster comes out. It's just a Foolish Burial on crack, that's all it's used for. Foolish Burial itself is at 1, so why should you have a Foolish Burial that can essentially send 5 monsters? And generally the player who opens with Future Fusion now wins. I mean, heroes use it to dump things to, like in the OCG and stuff, they send Zephyros so that they can do OTKs. It's a 1 card FTK by itself. Chaos Dragons basically use it to OTK. It's just not doing the job it was designed for, so it's got to go. It's just an unfair card. Now, I've only chosen to hit 2 cards on the Forbidden at the moment, although I reckon a lot more cards deserve it. As I've said earlier, I don't think the point of this Forbidden list is to neuter every single deck ever made. It's to just try and make the game more balanced while keeping variance. So the next card that I'd want Forbidden is Wind Up Hunter. I've argued against banning Hunter for a long time, and the reason behind that is Hunter's not a broken card. It's a card that says once you can send 1 card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. It's not a broken card. Oh, here, I'm going to hit 1 card at the cost of 1 of my monsters. It's a 1-for-1 trade. It's got crappy stats and you can only use it once. What is broken is the engine that can use that up to 5 times in 1 turn. So it's the same sort of thing with the sort of Substitute argument from back in the past. Mass Driver isn't broken, sorry. What is broken is an engine that can put 20 monsters on the field in 1 turn. So that's why Mass Driver didn't get hit straight away. However, my friends put it forward that if you wanted to hit the wind-up loop without hitting Hunter, you need to hit, you know, drastically hit the Zemite, the Rat, and maybe other cards as well. So it's not fair to hit 2 or 3 cards massively from the wind-up deck list when you can just hit Hunter, and that stops the loop. So that's why I've gone for that. It stops the loop entirely while still giving the wind-ups their Xyz shenanigans. So in terms of Konami's upcoming cells and things like that, you can still have wind-ups as an engine to make Xyz summons. So there is that, because you always need to take into account upcoming sets and promotions and things when it comes into this. So just like in the last March 2012 ban list, when they neutered plants, they hit all the tuners when the things they really need to hit was Dandelion, etc. The reason for that is they wanted to kill off Synchros to make Xyz summons. So it's the same thing here. You kill off the Hunter, you still have Xyz summons and wind up, so it works good there. Now, onto the limited. There's so many things here that I wanted to hit as well. But in the interest of trying to be fair, I've not gone for too much. So first off, we've had like a year, maybe more, of Insectors. They've been topping everything in the OCG, they've been topping everything in the TCG. They're not fair, so generally when it comes to the September ban list, that's when Konami really meta nuke. So if they're going to hit anything in September, they hit it harshly. So it's generally the sort of trend that they go by. So the harshest hit that they can do for Insectors here is to hit Dragonfly. So if you put Dragonfly to 1, there's no more OTK. It's a lot less sacky, and they're not going to be able to +4 every single turn for 4 turns. But you do still have good plays with the Dragonfly. Basically it, really. So you don't have the shenanigans that are Insectors there. I was thinking maybe of hitting Hornet, but in order to have any fun with that, you'd probably have to ban it, so you'd still have like rank 4, rank 5, and even rank 3s with Insectors, so it's not particularly worth it in my opinion, so you just hit the Dragonfly. Next up, I wanted to hit heroes because they're ridiculous. The actual like monsters and things themselves, and a lot of their cards are really balanced, but a lot of their cards are retarded. The two that sprung to mind were Super Poly and Miracle Fusion. Both of these have equal cases against them in my opinion. Super Poly is an unnegatable, I'm going to use your monsters to bring out a huge beat stick that's going to +2 for me when it dies. That's ridiculous. No other card like that exists in the game. It's retarded. And even if it could be negated, I'd be a lot more happy with it. But it's just ridiculous, and especially with the Dark Monster out in the OCG and us getting it very soon in the TCG, just stupid. It's gotta go. Or on the flip side, there's the Miracle Fusion, which is the, oh look, I've just top decked a beat stick, and when you kill this beat stick again, I'm gonna +2, and I hate that. That's stupid. In my opinion, topping a Miracle Fusion is as bad as topping BLS. It's retarded, really is. So one of those has to go, or go to one, sorry. The big reason behind that is because they won the Japanese Nationals. That's going to draw a lot of attention, like from Konami when they're thinking about it, and just the fact if you keep an eye on Shriek, they've been topping like every single tournament for a long time now. There's just ridiculously high consistency, stupidly good access to beat sticks, and when you kill those beat sticks, they plus even more. So it's not fair that they have such easy access to them, and that they can use your monsters as well in the case of Super Poly. So one of those to one, I honestly couldn't decide which one. So coin toss, basically, your choice, YouTube. Now next up, the thing that needs hitting is Chaos Dragons / Hieratics. The reason I say slash is because the best hit that Konami can make here is Red Eyes, and put Red Eyes to 1. That kills the Hieratic OTK, so they can't go into Gustav to kill you, because we're getting Gustav soon as well. But then that also means on the Chaos Dragon side, they can't do so many herpy-derpy shenanigans. The reason I falter on that line, the reason I hesitate to hit Red Eyes, a couple of reasons is, firstly, we're getting Gustav Max soon. Why would Konami want to hit the major way into that? That's surely going to damage their sales. And also, a lot of Chaos Dragons decks are only running 1 Red Eyes, the majority are only running 2. Putting that to 1, although in my opinion is the right hit, isn't necessarily going to have a massive impact on Chaos Dragon. So even if they ban Future Fusion, you're still going to have some really sacky mills. Like if they flip a Raikou and they mill like really well, they're still going to have some stupid things there. And because they've got their Eclipse Wyvern, they're always going to have access to the Red Eyes anyway. So that's not necessarily the best hit for me, like when you really think about it. So that then means that perhaps hitting Light Pulsar is the better option, because somebody put it really well that Light Pulsar is bad because it covers up for your opponent's mistakes. It helps them recover from duels they shouldn't be able to recover from, just because it gets out Red Eyes, which gets out Light Pulsar. So if you hit Light Pulsar, you've no longer got the soft lock, and you've no longer got as many Chaos monsters to abuse things with, and you can't keep recurring stuff, and DD Crow is going to be much more effective. The downside to hitting Light Pulsar, though, is Hieratics have then gone untouched. And I think it would be unfair to hit both Red Eyes and Light Pulsar, and I also think it's not going to be in Konami's interests to hit the Xyz monster, which is Atom, in which case I think it's likely Light Pulsar and Convocation are going to go to 1, so Convocation being the rotor for Hieratics. So Red Eyes could potentially be left alone, although I don't think it deserves it. I think purely the fact that hitting it isn't going to have a massive effect on Chaos Dragons, which is one of the reasons you would want to hit it, and it's also going to affect the sales for when Gustav Max comes out. Hitting Light Pulsar and Convocation does the same sort of job, but you've still got the OTK available for Hieratics, and you've still got access to Gustav Max. Now, lastly, coming off the list, there are lots of viable candidates, and a really popular one for this is Magician of Faith, and because of the whole GOAT format bandwagon thing, a lot of people want Tsukuyomi back. I disagree with those. Magician of Faith, maybe, to promote the Spellbook archetype, but it's not necessarily going to work, because I haven't really looked at them, but from what I've gathered, there's stuff that can banish the Spellbooks as well, so you're not really going to want to be adding them back to your hand, because then you won't be able to banish them. So I reckon Tribe Infecting Virus can come back. I've said it before, it worked really nicely with Fabled. It gives them another option around Snipe Hunter, so guaranteed kills. but it also means that with the Atlantean archetype and everything coming, it's going to massively promote that. I've got a nice super rare one I'd love to use, so I think that's a good thing to bring back. I don't think it's particularly broken in any way. Lightning Vortex Lightning Vortex is at 3. This is a Lightning Vortex that takes your normal summon. Granted, you can use it many times. I just think it's going to be a good one to come back to try and diversify and help the Atlantean archetype, because it's not been doing particularly well in the OCG. Then moving on, we have semi-limited. I didn't feel there was a huge amount here worth hitting, so I've just gone with Rescue Rabbit. Reason behind that, I don't think Tour Guide's going to be hit. TCG exclusive, it's coming out in the OCG soon. It's going to be a massive seller, just like it was here. And hitting that's obviously going to hurt their sales of Battle Pack, which is still in print as well. Don't think it's going to be a smart idea. I haven't hit Rescue Rabbit in the rest of this list, and the reason for that is I was thinking of maybe putting Largia to 1, but if you ever read Kevin Tuitt's articles on why they did stuff in the last ban list, a lot of the reason for not hitting windups was just wasn't doing anything in the OCG. And we're like, well, yeah, it's because they don't have Shark and Tour Guide and Rabbit, that's why. So because they're not doing anything in the OCG, but it is still an amazing deck, I think it deserved to be hit, but not massively. Putting Rescue Rabbit to 2 damages that consistency a little bit. It means that you're not going to be able to go into the first turn Largo set 4 go, and it basically means people are going to have to be running the Guaibas more as well. So it's going to be a lot more grind game. The grind game is incredibly skillful. The first turn Rabbit into Largo set 4 go isn't. So damaging that a little bit, I reckon, is going to be the best way to go. And that was my only semi-limited hit, to be honest. I couldn't really think of anything else that deserved it. So moving on was the no longer limited. There's so many things that shouldn't be there. There's Transmigration Prophecy, there's Magical Stone Excavation, but following on really from trends of what Konami's been doing in the last few ban lists, Swords Revealing Light to 3 and Marshmallow to 3. Spirit Reaper's at 2. Spirit Reaper, sorry, is at 3 and Marshmallow's already at 2. It can come back no problem. And Swords has been at 2 and nobody's been playing it. The only thing it will probably see any play in is like a Mist Valley Falcon deck. You just keep bouncing it and get infinite stalling, basically. But we have MST at 3 still, which I've deliberately chosen to not hit, just because I think that's then too many hits on one ban list. I think it could quite easily be hit, maybe go to 2 or 1 to help promote the use of Night Beam, but it's not having a huge impact, really. I think that's something that could perhaps come along next time. MST at 3 is fine, in my opinion. So there we are. This has been a really difficult one to come across. The basic gist you want to get across is things to be hit are Chaos Dragon / Hieratics, Heroes, Inzectors, and Wind-Ups. Wind-Ups, you just hit the hand loop because that's all that they play for in the OCG, and that's what we hate here in the TCG. Inzectors, because they're ridiculous and have been around too long. Heroes, because some of their support, as I've said, is just unbelievable. It's absolutely stupid. And Hieratics and like Chaos Dragon, sorry, can't get my words out, just because they're brutalizing everything. Chaos Dragons even do incredibly well now in the OCG, so there we are. It's not long now. To be honest, we probably should see the OCG ban list in a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then we'll know. Like I said, it's been a really difficult one to look at. It wouldn't surprise me if I was on the right lines, but had hit the wrong cards, maybe, but I think I've got the right balance there, so let me know. Comments and everything, as always, are good. What are your thoughts? And maybe we can incorporate them and come up with a good ban list. So, peace out, YouTube.